أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to LQ Milton class number 28. Today we are going to try and understand a concept which is new to us, but it is an easy concept. So I would like everybody to pay attention, because this concept has been widely used in Arabic language, grammar, and in Quran as well. Before we begin our lesson number 16, today we will try to finish lesson number 16 and 17, because A, they are very short lessons, B, they are both related to the concept we are learning today. We are aiming to finish our book number 1 inshallah before Ramadan, because we don't have many lessons left. So in the next few classes, 4 or 5 classes, inshallah we'll finish book number 1, alhamdulillah. Then in the Ramadan we may take a break, and then we'll start book number 2. So alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this opportunity and strength to continue with our course, and I hope that we are all learning and practicing and spending some time in understanding the Quran, which is the main focus of this class. In book number 1, in the beginning, we had learned about a concept of aqil and ghair aqil, right? Aqil and ghair aqil. If you don't remember, we'll just quickly revise this concept. What is aqil? Scholar have identified aqil group, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to whom Allah has given intellect. They can decide for themselves, they can think and decide for themselves, right? So the scholars have identified 3 groups: humans, angels, and jinns, as the aqil group. What is the meaning of aqil? Creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with intellect. The rest of the things or the animals which cannot decide for themselves are placed in the group called ghair aqil. We have learned this concept, but we just quickly revising it. Aqil group and ghair aqil group. So, for example, if I wanted to use who are you, then I would use man anta, who are you. So, man is used for aqil, and this is just a quick example, but if I am pointing towards a thing, then I would say what is this, then I would use ma. This is just one example. This is just one concept we learned in the previous in the beginning of book number 1. So, this is the concept of aqil and ghair aqil. We are going to step by step. Okay? So, we understand that now. Now comes to the plurals. Plurals are either aqil or ghair aqil, right? Book, books, teacher, teachers, right? Mudarrisun, mudarrisuna, muhandisun, muhandisuna, right? Baitun, buyutun, kitabun, kutubun. So, we have singulars and plurals. Now, singulars and plurals can be aqil or can be ghair aqil, right, from both groups. They can be from both groups. But when we are talking about the ghair aqil group, when we are talking about the ghair aqil group and we are talking about plurals, then they are treated as singular feminine. Confused? Don't worry about it. This is what we are learning today. For example, if I am talking about the aqil, mudarrisuna, mudarrisun, I would say this is a teacher. I would say haza mudarrisun. And when I say these are teachers, I would say haulai mudarrisuna, right. So, haza and haulai is used for aqil group, haza or haulai. Or if I say that is an engineer, I would say zalika muhandisun. We all know that. And if I want to say those are engineers, I would say ulaika muhandisuna. Because we are dealing muhandisuna and mudarrisuna, we are dealing these plurals in the aqil group, and it's very straightforward. Haza, haulai, zalika, ulaika, or hazihi, haulai, or tilka, ulaika. It's very simple. We know this concept. When we come to the ghair aqil group, for example, I say, I am pointing towards the take an example of a book. I would say this is a book. I would say haza kitabun. Very simple, right? This is a book. But when it comes to the plurals, what is the plural of kitabun? Kutubun. Kutubun, right? But when I am saying these are books, and I am now dealing in the ghair aqil group, should I say haulai kutubun? No, I would use hazihi kutubun. Even though the translation is these are books, but I am not using haulai, I am using hazihi, and hazihi is the singular feminine for haza. Hazihi is the singular. I think we are missing singular. Let's just write singular here as well. singular, feminine singular. So, I am pointing towards the books, these are books. So, I do not use haulai kutubun, I would use hazihi kutubun. Now, one would get confused why we are using hazihi. This is the grammatical rule in the language. So, everything, all plurals are in the hierarchical group are treated as feminine singular, and this concept is called kullu jam'in muannas. Kullu jam'in muannas, all plurals are muannas. Kullu means all, jam'in means plurals, muannas mean feminine singular, muannas singular, feminine muannas. So, all plurals in the hierarchical group are treated as feminine singular. That is all we are learning today, and there are lots of exercises, and we will do lessons to solidify our concept of kullu jam'in muannas. On the WhatsApp group, we have shared few examples, jazakallah Nambai for finding those examples. We have shared few examples of this concept kullu jam'in muannas, and we will quickly go over them inshallah at the end of the class if we have time. And this is a very famous ayah which is a lot of people get confused, and I wanted to, and this is one of the question in the previous classes by Shahbaz Bhai. He was asking about it and it stuck in my mind, so inshallah we will clarify that. So, do not worry about this ayah for now, we will deal with it later. Yeah, he is attending inshallah today. Yeah, I was waiting for him to come to the class today, looking for him in the masjid today. So, in the hierarchical group, all plurals are treated as feminine singular or singular feminine, and the concept is called kullu jam'in muannas. This is a new concept, I know we will get confused, but let us start the lesson, and we are starting lesson number 16, page number 92 of book 1, the blue book. Right now, let us look at the sentences. This is a conversation between Mudarris and his students. Al Mudarris, the teacher, what is he asking? Liman hazihil aqlamu ya Muhammad. What is al aqlamu? Qalamun, pen, al aqlamu, the pens. Is this a hierarchical group? Yes, this is a hierarchical group. And is this a plural? Yes, it is a plural. So, why Mudarris is saying hazihi here? Kullu jam'in muannas. All plurals in the hierarchical group are treated as singular feminine. So, he is asking liman, to whom, hazihil aqlamu ya Muhammad, to whom these pens belong to, O Muhammad. And Muhammad said, hiya li ya ustazu. Hiya, what is hiya? Hiya in pronouns means it, right? It, she or it. But Muhammad is replying hiya because he is referring it to aqlamu. He is saying, they belong to me, O teacher. The translation of this sentence is they belong to, or they belong to me, O teacher, because he is talking about al aqlamu, and al aqlamu is hierarchical and it is plural, and plurals are in the hierarchical group treated as singular feminine or feminine singular. Feminine singular, let us keep it that way. Let us keep it that way. Yeah, I can see something feminine singular. So, when Muhammad is using hiya, even though he is using hiya, we cannot translate it as it. We say they belong to me, O teacher. This is a jumla ismiya, mubtada khabar is there, we can identify it. We don't have to go into grammatical analysis at this time. All we are trying to understand is the concept of kullu jama muannas. Don't worry, we'll continue that. Al Mudarris said, hiya jamilatun jiddan. What is the meaning of this sentence? They are very beautiful. Jiddan is maf'ulun mutlaq. We have not done the concept of maf'ulun mutlaq, but the translation is they are very beautiful. Now, Mudarris said here, why I am translating they are very beautiful? I can see here there because the teacher is pointing towards al aqlamu. So, he is using feminine singular. They belong to me. Now, since the aqlamu is treated as singular feminine, so instead of the naat or the adjective is used as jamilatun, not jamilun. Jamilun is masculine, jamilatun is feminine singular. So, hiya jamilatun jiddan, they are very beautiful. So, the translation changes because we are talking about kullu jamin muannas in the ghair aqil group. Then he said, further he said al Mudarris, فَهَذِهِ الْكُتُبُ الْجَدِيدَةُ أَهِيَ لَكَ. Wahaz and kutubu, al kutubu, the books. The books, they are in the ghair aqil group. Are they plurals? Yes, they are plurals. What is the singular? Kitabun. Right? Al kutubu, the books. Hazihi, and these new books. Ahiya laka, do they belong to you? Now, look at the construction of this sentence here. Since we are talking about ghair aqil, plurals, al kutubu, so the teacher used hazihi, singular, feminine, singular. Hazihi, hazihi. But what is the translation? The translation is, and these books, al jadidatu, the naat. The naat again we have to treat it as feminine singular. Feminine singular. So, he is saying al kutubu al jadidatu, and these new books. Ahiya laka. Now, hiya, why Mudarris is using hiya here? Because kullu jam'in muannas, are they belong to you? They belong to you, not it belong to you. We don't say is it belong to you? No, we translate it as are they belong to you? Are they belong to you? Yeah, yeah, or do they belong to you? So, here is what I am trying to say. Whenever, think about it, whenever we are talking about the ghair aqil group, plurals, the environment around it will be changed, either it is an adjective or either it is ismu ishara or anything relates to that ghair aqil plural, everything around it will be treated as feminine singular. Let us look at that way. And there are examples from Quran that we have shared on WhatsApp group. If we have time, we will go through them as well, inshallah. The environment around it will change. Next one, Muhammad said, La, no, hiya li hamidin. Now, here, now since we are talking about al kutubu, the books, we don't translate it as it, we translate it as they belong to Hamid. They belong to Hamid. This is the only concept we are learning in lesson number 16 and 17. Al Mudarris said, Aina dafatirukum ya ikhwanu, where are your notebooks, O brothers? Where are your notebooks, O brothers? What is notebooks? Ghair aqil, rulers. So, when Ali would reply, he would reply in kullu jamin muannas. So, the environment around the notebooks or the fatru will change into feminine singular. Is it making sense? Yeah. Ali said, hiya huna ala hazal maktabi. Hiya huna, they are here. So, hiya is kullu jamin muannas, hiya huna, they are here, ala on hazal maktabi. Now, why hazal maktabi? This is a very clever sentence Dr. Saab is bringing, because al maktabi, even though it's ghair akil, but it's not plural. Even though al maktabi is ghair akil, which is a desk, but it is not plural. So, that is why there is no need to bring hazihi here, because it is a singular. We are not dealing in plurals anymore. So, that is why Ali is saying hiya huna, they are here, ala hazal maktabi, on the desk. So, it's a very clever sentence Dr. Saab brought in to emphasize that only the plurals in ghair aqil group are treated as feminine singular. Let us start the examples, tamarin. Okay. Number 1, ta'ammal amsalatul atiyati, ponder upon the following sentence. Take al mufrad singular, take a look at it. Haza talibun jadidun, book 1 lesson 3. Right. Book 1 lesson 3. Haza talibun jadidun, this is a new student, right. Huwa min America, he is from America. Okay, it's very simple. Now, come to the jama. Now, talibun, is it akil or ghair akil? Akil, right, intellect. So, al jama will haulai tullabun jududun, these are new students, no change, normal sentence. Haulai tullabun jududun, hum min America, they are from America. Simple, that is what we had learned in the past. But now, Dr. Saab is bringing the concept of kullu jama muannas. Next, al mufrad, haza kitabun jadidun, this is a new book. Huwa min America, it is from America. Look at the jama, hazihi kutubun jadidatun, hiya min America. Why? Because kitabun, when changed into kutubun in a ghair akil group, become plurals, it will be treated as feminine singular. So, the environment around it will change. So, we say hazihi, but even though we are bringing hazihi, the translation is these are books, these are new books. And jadidatun, jadidatun is feminine singular, hiya min America, they are from America, they are from America. This is all we are learning. Let us take a quick look at exercise number 2. Hawwil al mubtada, solve the subject fi kulli min jumla al atiyati ila al jama, and make it, change it into the following, make it into jama. Let us take a look at example. Haza baitun, book 1 lesson 1. Haza baitun, this is a house, but baitun well becomes plural, it becomes buyutun, buyutun, and I want to say these are houses, then I would say hazihi buyutun. Why? Kullu jamin muannas in the ghair akil group. Now, let us quickly go over them. Haza najmun, and what is the jama of najmun? Nujumun. What should I say? Hazihi nujumun. Haza darsun, the jama is durusun, hazihi durusun. Haza qalamun, aqlamu, hazihi aqlamu. Haza babun, abwabun becomes hazihi abwabun, these are doors. Haza nahrun, anharun, hazihi anharun, haza jabalun, hazihi jibalun, haza kalbun, hazihi kilabun, haza baharun, hazihi biharun, haza kitabun, hazihi kutubun, haza himarun, hazihi humurun, haza sarirun, hazihi sururun, haza daftarun, hazihi dafatiru, haza maktabun, hazihi makatibu, haza fundukun, hazihi fanadiqu, hazihi saatu. Now hazihi saatu, saatu itself is feminine because there is a ta marbuta there, right? Hazihi saatu, it's ta marbuta there, so we say hazihi saatu. But when it becomes plural, we don't say haulai saatun, we say hazihi saatun, because watch is ghair aqil kullu juma muannas. hazihi sayyaratun, hazihi sayyaratun, hazihi ta'iratun, hazihi ta'iratun, zalika najmun. What is the plural of najmun? Nujumun. Tilka nujumun. Why? Because najmun is ghair aqil and its nujumun is plurals in the ghair aqil group. So I am pointing towards these are stars or those are stars. So I say tilka nujumun, tilka sayyaratun, and then tilka sayyaratun. Simple as that. Number 3. Now we have 3 choices here: haza, hazihi, and haulai. We have to bring. We have to choose from these 3 choices, right? So rajulun. Now let's use our rajulun, a man. Aqil, yes. Then I would say haza because it's singular. Singular, I would use haza. Rijalun, men. Haulai, haulai. Kalbun, haza, right? Kalbun, but it is singular. It is singular, right? So haza. Kilabun, dogs. Hazihi, because dogs are ghair aqil group and it is plural, so it is treated as feminine singular. Hazihi kilabun. Durusun, hazihi durusun. Mudarrisuna, haulai, haulai. Akhawati, haulai. Aqlamu, hazihi. Aqlamu is ghair aqil group, plurals. Kullu jam'in muannas. Kitabun, haza. Sayyaratun, hazihi. Sayyaratun, hazihi. Himarun, haza. Kutubun, hazihi. Humurun, hazihi. Ainun, hazihi, because remember the body parts which are in pairs, they are treated as feminine. Tabibatun, hazihi. Tabibatun. Haulai. Why haulai? Aqil group. Dr. Saab is giving us a curveball here. Yeah, giving us a curveball here. So you had to think about it. Yeah, I mean, we can easily say hazihi. No, don't say hazihi, haulai, because tabibatun is from the aqil group, right? That's okay. Write it down. Writing will make things solidify this concept. Next one, number 4. Now we have 3 options: zalika, tilka, and aulaika. Okay, so talibun, zalika. Tullabun, ulaika, because we are talking about aqil here. Najmun, zalika, singular, so normal. Nujumun, tilka. Bintun, tilka. Banatun, ulaika, because banatun is aqil, daughters. Darrajatun, tilka. Darrajatun, tilka. sarirun zalika, sururun tilka, dajjajatun tilka, mudarrisatun tilka, mudarrisatun ulaika, hajjun the pilgrims zalika, hujjajun ulaika, because hajjun and hujjajun are akil group, so normal. Masjidun zalika, sayyaratun cars tilka, because sayyaratun is ghair akil, kullu jama muannas. So we have to bring the suitable ismu ishara lil qareeb or ismu ishara lil ba'id in these two exercises. If this is too fast for us, go back and then think about it and write down, and from the three options that are given. Last exercise of lesson number 16. Haza talibun, haulai tullabun, hazihi talibatun, then talibatun, hazihi again, sorry, haulai, because we are talking about the akil group. So this is normal. Now comes zalika talibun, ulaika tullabun, tilka talibatun, ulaika talibatun, akil group. The next one is ghair akil group. Now look at that. Haza baitun, hazihi buyutun, hazihi sayyaratun, hazihi sayyaratun, zalika baitun, tilka buyutun, tilka sayyaratun, tilka sayyaratun. Now here all along, if think about it, we never come to laika. In the ghair akil group, we never come to haulai or ulaika, we never discuss that. It's either haza or hazihi, zalika or tilka, right? Even though there are plurals discussed in there, even in this chart there are plurals discussed here, but we never use ulaika or haulai. We use haza, hazihi or zalika or tilka, because when it's in the ghair akil group, depending on haza it becomes hazihi, and zalika or tilka it becomes tilka. Lesson number 17. Ad-darsu sabi'a ashara. Number 1, abwabul masjidu. Abwabu, what is abwabu? Doors, doors of the masjid. I am not going into grammatical analysis here, okay. We have already done that, so we are just going to focus on kullu jam'in muannas. Abwabul masjidi maftuhatun. Why maftuhatun? Because abwab is ghair akil plurals. So maftuhatun, so doors of the masjids are open. I have said are open, okay. Next one, liman hazihil buyutul jadidatu, to whom these new houses belong to. Now what is al buyutu? Ghair akil plurals. So instead of using haulai, I am using hazihi, because kullu jam'in muannas. And why al jadidatu? Because al buyut should be the environment around al buyutun, buyutu, should environment around it should be treated as feminine singular. I keep repeating it so that if we are listening to it or if we are looking at the video, these words will trigger. Then here li mudiri sharikati. Now li mudiri means they belong to the director of corporation. Sharikati means corporation. Now why I am translating it as they belong to the director of corporation? Because we are talking about al buyutu. al-buyutu, the houses, and the houses are in the ghair aqil group and they are plurals. So now when somebody is asking me liman hazihil buyutul jadidatu, to whom these new houses belong, then in for me to say the about talking about the new houses, the environment around it should be used as feminine singular. So I would say hiya li mudiril sharakati. Third one, an-nujumu jamilatun, the stars are beautiful. Number 4, hazihi durusu sahlatun. Now durusu is ghair aqil, so therefore I am saying these lessons are easy. Sahlatun is feminine singular adjective here. Number 5, fil hindi lughatun kasiratun. In India there are many languages. What is lughatun? Languages. Lughatun language, lughatun languages. Ghair aqil group, plurals, jama. So if I want to say in India there are many languages, so I would use kasiratun because it is feminine singular. I am talking about the languages. Number 6, ainal kutubul jadidatu, where are new books? Hiya fil maktabati, they are in the library. They are in the library, right? Ainal kutubul jadidatu. Now why al jadidatu? Al jadidatu is feminine singular because we are talking about kutubu, ghair aqil group, plurals. They are in the library. Number 7, tilka sururu maksuratun. Tilka sururu, what is sururu? Beds, right? Those beds are broken. So I am talking about beds, so I am using tilka, those, and maksuratun again is feminine singular. I am not using maksurun, I am using maksuratun, which is the feminine singular because I am talking about ghair aqil plurals. Number 8, as-sa'atul yabaniyatu rakhisatun. The watches from Japan are cheap. As-sa'atu, as-sa'atu, al-yabaniyatu rakhisatun. The watch from Japan are cheap. Why rakhisatun? Kullu jama muannas. Number 9, ji as-sa'atu. Oh, this is a curve ball. So as-sa'atu, this is a singular, so it is already a singular. So Dr. Saab is bringing number 8 as a singular already, not a plurals. So it is a singular. So rakhisatun is a normal sentence. Naam bhai, Khalid bhai? Yeah. Number 9, hazihil humuru lil fallahi. What is the meaning of al humuru? Donkeys, right? These donkeys belong to the farmers. Now donkeys, are they ghair aqil group? Yeah. Number 10, aina kutubukunna ya khawatu, where are your books, O sisters? So kutubu, then they are saying they are in the class, so they say hiya fil fasli, they are in the class. Number 11, hazihi kutubi. Hazihi kutubi, what is the meaning of kutubi? My books, my books, books plural ghair aqil, so that's why we are saying hazihi kutubi, these are my books. Wa tilka kutubu ukhti, and those are my sister books. Number 12, hazihi makatibut tullabun, hazihi makatibut tullabi. Now what is makatibu? Maktabun, desk, makatibu, desks. Hazihi makatibu, these are desks. At-tullabi, desk of students. Mudaf, mudaf alayh. I am not going through the grammatical analysis because we have done this, so we are just trying to understand the concept of kullu jama' muannas at this time. Number 13, fi hazar shari'i, in this street fanadiku. What is the meaning of fanadiku? Hotels, right? In this street hotels kasiratun, there are many hotels. Oh, sorry, kabiratun. Kabiratun means big hotels, 5-star hotels. Okay, kabiratun. So why kabiratun? Because feminine singular, we are talking about fanadiku. Ghair akil, rulers. Let's take a look at the exercises. Okay, so ajib anil as'ilatil atiyati, answer the following questions. The first question is Ainal kutubul jadidatu, where are new books? Where are new books? They were in the library. In the lesson the answer was that. So what we say, hiya fil maktabati, they are in the, even though I am using hiya, but the translation is they are in the library, hiya fil maktabati. Number 2, liman hazal buyutul kabiratu, to whom these big houses belong to. Actually the Jadid house belong to the, but we can say that hiya li mudiri sharakati, they belong to the director of corporation, we can say that. Abwabu sayyaratu maftuhatun, now abwabu sayyara, abwabu sayyarati maftuhatun, are the doors of car is open. Why maftuhatun? Because we are talking about abwabun, doors, ghair akil group, rulers, we should treat it as feminine singular. So maftuhatun is singular, feminine singular. Let's say yes they were, so you say na'am, you can say na'am. Number 4, aina aqlamul mudarrisu, where are pens of the teacher? What do we want to say? We want to say they are on the desk, so we say hiya fil maktabi. For example, we want to say they are on the desk, so say hiya fil maktabi. Number 5, ainal kilabu, kilabu mean dogs, where are dogs, and you want to say they are in the garden, so we say hiya fil hadikati, they are in the gardens, because we are talking about ghair akil group. Ainal hamiru, where is the dog, where is the donkey, where is the donkey, and we want to say the donkey is in the field, so we hiya hamir, himarun hamirun, so we say hiya fil haqli, yeah, hiya fil haqli, it is in the field. Aina kutubuka ya Maryam, where is your kutubuki, because we are talking to Maryam. Aina kutubuki ya Maryam, where are your books, O Maryam? And then what she want to say? She want to say that they are in the class, so she say hiya fil fasli, hiya fil fasli, they are in the class. Then number 8, aina dafatiru tullabi, where are the notebooks of the students? Where are Khalid bhai? Yeah. Aina dafatiru tullabi, where are the notebooks of students? And we want to say they are with the teacher, so or the desk of teacher, we say hiya alal maktabil mudarrisi, they are on the desk of the teacher. Number 9, ainal fanadiku as-saghiratu, where are the small hotels? And we want to say they are in that street, hiya fi zalika ash-shari, hiya. Why we are using hiya? Because we are talking about fanadiku, ghair akil. The only thing we have to remember now is when we are answering this question is, since all of the rulers Dr. Saab is asking, they are plurals from ghair aqil. When we are answering it back, we should be treating them as kullu jamin muannas, as feminine singular. If it is too fast, we have halut tamarin. Try and answer those yourself, write them down, go back to halut tamarin and check. Then comes liban hazihil aqlamul jadidatu, to whom these new pens belong to, and I want to say they belong to me, but since I am talking about al aqlamu al jadidatu, new pens, I will say hiya li, they belong to me. Next one is very simple. Look at the misal, the example. Al babu maftuhun, the door is open. Al abwabu maftuhatun. Now here we have to use the concept that we have learned. Haza qalamun jadidun. Now we have to change it into plurals, right? Haza qalamun jadidun, this is a new pen. Now what is the plural of qalamun? Aqlamu. Let's do first thing first. Okay, let's do first thing first. First we know qalamun is ghair aqil. We determine that, step number 1. Step number 2, find the plural aqlamu. Step number 2. Now I know that when I am changing this sentence into a plural, I have to treat it as kullu jamin muannas or feminine singular. So what will haza become? Hazihi. What will jadidun becomes? Jadidatun. So we say hazihi aqlamu jadidatun. Hazihi aqlamu jadidatun. An najmu jamilun. An najmu star, it will become an nujumu, and jamilun will become jamilatun. Zalika kitabun qadimun. Now kitabun ghair aqil, what is the plural? Kutubun. Zalika will become tilka, tilka kutubun qadimatun. Zalikal baytu jamilun. Al baytu will become al buyutu, tilkal buyutu jamilatun. Darsu becomes ad darsu become ad durusu, then it becomes hazihi durusu sahlatun. Al jablu will become al jibalu, tilkal jibalu ba'idatun. Hazal maktabu maksurun, makatib al makatibu hazihil makatibu maksuratun. Haza masjidun jamilun, masjidun will become masajidu, then it become hazihi masajidu jamilatun. Sa'atun becomes sa'atun, then hazihi sa'atun rakhisatun, same thing, it doesn't change, except for singular will become plural, sa'atun will become sa'atun. Number 10, tilka ta'iratu kabiratun, then we say tilka at-ta'iratu kabiratun. Haza talibun jadidun, haza talibun jadidun. Hazihi haulai. Because here's a curveball. See, sometimes Dr. Saab gives, because we are talking about aqil group now, so we don't need to bring hazihi now, because we are talking about in aqil. So we say haulai tullabun jududun. Jududun, jadidun will become jududun, the plural of jadidun is jududun. Then zalikar rajalu tajirun kabirun. Now we are talking about a man, aqil, we say ulaikar rijalu tujjarun kibarun. Ulaikar rijalu tujjarun kibarun. And last one, haza naharu kabirun. An naharu will come an neharu, hazihin neharu kabira tun, because now it's ghair aqil. Number 3, we have to bring in a suitable khabar. Anhar, An-Niharu. Al baytu, should I say jadidun or jadidatun? Jadidun. Number 2, an najumu jamilatun, al babu qadimun, al kalamu maksurun, al buyutu ba'idatun, the houses are far, right? Al abwabu maftuhatun, as sayyaratu jadidatun, al mindilu wasikhun, al fanadiku, the hotels, no, wasikhun, al mindilu, handkerchief, handkerchief, singular, singular, right? Al fanadiku jamilatun, the hotels are beautiful. At-tullabu jadidatun, no, jududun, because aqil group. Al kumsanu rakhisatun. So we have to bring any khabar, we can bring any khabar we want. We want to say the house is new, the stars are beautiful, the door is old, the pen is broken, the houses are far. Then we are saying abwabul maftuhatun, the doors are open, as sayyaratu jadidatun, the cars are new, al mindilu wasikhun, the handkerchief is dirty, al fanadiqu jamilatun, the hotels are new, at tullabu jududun, the students are new, al kumsanu rakhisatun, the shirts are cheap. So we can bring any khabar, any predicate, but we have to make sure the khabar for the subject should be treated as kullu jam'in muannas if the plural is from the ghair aqil group. Try doing it at home, think about it, and then check your answers against hallu tamarin. We have 10 minutes and inshallah we'll finish this in the next 1 minute, and then I wanted to come to this ayah because this is a confusion and this was a question. Number 4, hata jamal kalimatil atiyati. Now we have to bring in the plurals for these singulars. Babun abwabun, baitun buyutun, najmun nujumun, qalamun aqlamu, himarun humurun, sarirun sururun, naharun anharun, sayyaratun sayyaratun, kalbun kalabun, tairatun tairatun, darsun durusun. All of these are discussed in the exercises and in the lesson. Baharun biharun, kitabun kutubun, kamisun kumsanu, darajatun darajatun, haqlun huqulun, jablun jibalun. Al kalimatul jadidatu, the new words. Sharikatu, corporation. Sharikatun, corporations. Mudiru sharikati, director of corporation. Rakhisun, al kamisu, rakhisun means cheap, al kamisu means shirt, al kumsanu means shirts. That's just for vocabulary, that's all, right? It's just for vocabulary. We don't have much time to go through the Quranic examples from kullu jama muannas that has been shared on the WhatsApp group, but my recommendation is to go through those examples and observe the concept of kullu jama muannas, because a lot of the time people get confused. Now since we have 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, this is a question that was asked by a student when we were learning the concept of zalika and tilka, right? Zalika and tilka, we were learning that concept in our book 1 many months ago, and then the student was asking about, Naveed bhai, what is tilka rasulu? Rasulu means messengers, right? And at that time I said, hold on to your question, because we are not there yet. There will be a time when we would understand this concept, and I will explain. Now, this is a very famous ayah of Quran, and a lot of the people who have a habitual tendency to criticize Quran in any way they can, they basically usually bring this ayah and say, look, the concept of kullu jama muannas is all the plurals which are ghair aqil group should be treated as feminine singular. Then why ar-rusulu is treated as tilka, as kullu jama muannas. Okay, this is one of the example. So, before I explain that, I wanted to make a statement. In any language, in order to fully enjoy the flavors of that language, there are certain grammatical exceptions to draw attention towards which are not used in a regular conversation of in that language always, and those exceptions are only used by highly literal people with literally work, right. For example, in English language today, in modern English language, we say I will, we will do it, I will do it, I will come to you, we will come to you, and it's a modern English. But then if you go in the past and look at the highly literal work that has done by the scholars, you will see I shall or we shall. This is how it should be, I shall or we shall. That's how the proper grammar is. But then they started to describe, okay, if you have to draw attention towards something, then you use shall, otherwise you would use I will, and there's a whole debate around it. Why? It's everything is fine. It's only because we wanted to enjoy the English language. We wanted to enjoy the English language. Inamba, you have a
example.
Yeah, example.
It's just like exception.
Yeah.
Like in Quran, Allah says, "Fabashshirhum bi azabin alim." Give them a good news of painful chastisement, like azab.
Azab.
When you give them a good bashir.
Bashir.
Bashir is normally good news, but it's just to get.
Okay. Yes. Again, Bashir. Yeah. This is a good example. Give them the good tidings of the. Yes, I know this ayah. And I was fortunately I was watching a scholar explain. Bashir is basically, again, Bashir means give good glad tidings. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving glad tidings of azabun alim, the painful punishment, right? Because because this Bashir is now used, and again this is form 2, right? And it is form 2, and it is with the shadda. It is an exception because it's a taunting, because we fully wanted to enjoy the flavor of the language. So, coming back to my example of I will, I shall, and there could be many, in any language there are many examples of exceptions to draw attention towards, right. So, if we would have to go back in the past into highly literary work that has done by the scholars, sometimes they had used for aqil, if the concept is very important. If the concept is very important to explain, then in order to draw the attention, there is an exception to the rule, and that is this exception. Emphasis at drawing attention. Plus, second thing is, ar-rusulu is a broken plural. Ar-rusulu is a broken plural, right? It is not a sound plural. Remember, when we say mudarrisun, mudarrisuna, muhandisun, muhandisuna, mushtahidun, mushtahiduna, there is a pattern there. But then I say tajirun, tujjarun, the pattern changed, the pattern broke. Similarly in English language, pen, pens, book, books, chair, chairs, child, children. Broken. We have learned this concept, right? So ar-rusulu, number one, A is a broken plural. B, this is an exception, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is an important concept, because Rusul, the messengers, are high above normal human beings. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about his messengers. So he obviously wants to draw our attention towards that, and it's a highly literal. The Quran is the pinnacle of Arabic grammar. Scholars know that. So in order to draw this important concept and talking about ar-rusulu, the messengers, which are more important than ordinary human being in our lives, tilka is used using kullu jama muannas because to draw attention, and this is how we will feel the flavor of the language. It immediately draws our language, our attention. We feel for it. Tilka rusulu faddalna. So there are examples. We will find it in the past, the highly literal work that has been done by the Arabic scholars in the past. We will find this kind of exceptions there, but person would say no, this is because they don't know the language very well. So this was a question, and now it is a time to understand why tilka is used with this ayah. But the example that we have shared in on the WhatsApp group, they are very straightforward, but some of these exceptions may come in Quran. There are some other examples could be, and so don't feel that there is why they are coming here, because there is a reason behind it. There is a reason behind it. So we have to there is something called conscious bias. A person with a conscious bias would disagree with it, but a person with a open-minded, they would realize what it is, what it really means. It's 8:15 now, so inshallah we'll finish our class. I hope we thoroughly enjoyed this class. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih. Wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna alal qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.